Welcome to Hope, heartful outreach, positive encouragement. On this channel, we discuss real-life issues from a Christ follower's perspective. How can we improve our family lives, get out of debt, leave an inheritance to our loved ones, and use our talents to make an impact on our communities? Stay tuned for guest speakers who will share tips and resources to help you with these and other topics. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And now, let's join today's guest speaker.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. We are here for another episode of Hope, Heartful Outreach, Positive Encouragement. And today we have as our guest, Mrs. Trina Blunt. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being a part of our show today. I met Trina at a sale. She was doing some selling out in the community, selling her beautiful items that she makes by hand, and that she'll tell you more about that. But whenever I meet someone who just has a gorgeous smile, who is enjoying life, I just feel like that's somebody who can give hope in the community. And I'm glad that I took some time to meet her. So how are you doing today, Trina?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And it's good to see you again.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so how is business, first of all?
It's going good. It's going pretty good. I
Yeah.
have been busy.
When I saw you the other day, you invited me to come and see you sell at the beach park. I think it's called the beach park
Each hard.
flea market. Is that
Yeah.
what it is? Oh, that was so overwhelming to me. I was like, there's a sea of people here.
Yeah, it's a high traffic area.
Well, that's good for business. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, that's outstanding. Well, I was really attracted to you because as I saw your business the very first time, you had a business card that I picked up, and I looked at it and it had little cartoon characters on it. And I complimented you on your card and how cute it was. And then there broke forth this whole family story. So I'm going to pause right here and let you tell us about that.
Okay. So my company name is Darlin,
Mhm.
and I named the company after my parents to honor them. Both of my parents passed away years ago. My dad passed away in 2004. My mom passed away in 2015, and
Mhm.
both of them had a love for fashion and jewelry and just their appearance. My
Mhm.
dad was a manly man, and I loved how he always wore cologne and wore, a wooden bracelet or a black bracelet, and it just whatever with his outfit, he always kept his appearance together. And my mom had a love for color. And so bright colors and pretty jewelry never ceased to be ready. um, I love the fact that my mom, I could never catch her off guard with a picture because she always had a pair of earrings and some lipstick in her purse.
Mhm.
She's like, hold on, I got it. And then, I could never catch her off guard.
Mhm.
But combine the two, their love for this fed into my desire to create this jewelry line for men and women.
Mhm.
Also, my mom's name was Lynette and my dad's name was Darnell. So
Okay.
I took the DAR from Darnell and the LYNN from Lynette, and I put it together and made it Darlin. And
Nice.
so the name is to honor my parents, Darlin. And so the cartoon characters that's up here
Mhm.
are actually my parents.
Wow.
My
That's
my
so
youngest sister, yeah, my youngest sister is the illustrator for that, and her name is Angelica. But yes, she illustrated my parents for me, and this is my mom's personality. It's like here I am, and my dad is just that calm, cool, relaxed, laid back. So yes, this
Mhm.
is my
Very
company.
cute. Well, yes, I always like to hear the family stories because, this year we've been talking about legacy and we've heard a lot of family stories and about, you know, what families have passed down to their children and, that kind of thing. So,
Mhm.
yeah, so tell us about what you make.
So I make earrings and bracelets and necklaces and I make the bracelets for men. Right now, I made jewelry for children as well, like little girls. They have
Hmm.
little butterfly earrings and all, and necklaces and bracelets. As far as for the women, I go into metal jewelry as well as wood jewelry, beaded jewelry, and I just really love it. It's
Hmm.
something I started back in August 2022, which
Right.
it's almost a year ago, and I started actually selling in January.
Hmm. Hmm. Wonderful. Well, that's exciting. I know that you've made some changes to your line of items that
Yes.
you sell, and you're getting ready to do some new things like make pillows, you said? Yeah.
Yes, yes. I am going to be adding because Darling is an expanding brand. I'm just starting with jewelry right now, but I'm also going to be making t-shirts, graphic t-shirts. I'm going to be making pillows, table decor for your dining room table,
Hmm.
and curtains, anything to go with like home decor. But as far as it goes with my um the pillows. Pillows, I love a texture, a good texture. So I want to add a line of good different textures, you
Hmm.
know, in decorative pillows. As far as it goes with the table decor, I think out of the box.
Right.
So I like to have like a denim table. I like to have like
Yeah.
yes, I'll take a level of a sunflower to a whole nother level. So I can I could think of all the accessories to go on the table, from the
Hmm.
napkin holders to the
Hmm.
utensils.
Right.
So yeah, yeah,
Well,
and centerpieces.
so as you're talking, I'm remembering that as we were chatting before, you said that you used to do hair, and then
Yes.
suddenly you went from doing hair to doing all this. What caused this transition?
So back in 2020, um, right before the pandemic hit, I had gotten to a point where I was 20 years into being a cosmetologist, licensed cosmetologist, and I was getting to the point where I was like tired of what we call being behind the chair. And so, not that my love for hair diminished, it's just it was a wear and tear on my body. And so I got to the point where I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and close my salon. And I felt like the timing was right. Lo and behold, months later, the pandemic hit, and everybody had to shut down anyway.
Mhm.
So I felt like it was the right decision at the time. I kind of officially retired myself from it. um, and then I just didn't know what I was going to do. I really didn't know which direction to take because hair had been my journey for
Right.
so many years. But then I picked up a small little earring kit from
Hmm.
Walmart and I said, well, I'm going to try something. And I tried to put it together, had no idea what I was doing.
Hmm.
And it collected dust over to the side. Fast forward a year and a half later, I decided to try it again
Hmm.
and sparked. I guess I just needed time to detox from hair because
Okay.
now the ideas are
Hmm.
fully with jewelry and design and all of those things now. But I'm really grateful that I took the time to try it again and to
Right.
not give up.
Right.
And I literally began making jewelry last August, but I didn't start selling until January this year.
I see. Okay. Well,
Second passion.
what was that last thing?
It's my second passion.
Your second passion. Well, just that story alone is encouraging because a lot of times, you know, for different reasons, people have to change their career,
Yeah.
and they have to do something different, and you have some choices to make. You can just say, okay, well, it's over for me. I won't be able to do anything, or you can, reach down and find some creativity, and I'm glad you did that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, one other thing that we talked about was the fact that, like for myself, I don't really wear jewelry. For some people, it is a religious thing, but for
Mhm.
me, more it is an allergy thing.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
allergic to a lot of metals, so
Yes.
so I don't really wear metals on my body. That's just how it is. So it just turns out to make it easier for me to comply with the wishes of my church doctrine not to wear jewelry.
Right.
However, I think what you make is so beautiful and creative. I told you the other day, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to use it as a key ring.
Right, right.
You have these beautiful stones with the metal wrapped around it that I thought was
Yes.
really pretty. And also the ones that they look like a dress or a fan. I can't really describe that one.
Yeah. I call them flares. They flare out.
Yeah. So the artistry of it is just gorgeous. And so I feel like everyone, no matter whether they wear jewelry or not, can benefit from the designs that you make and the new ones
Yes.
you're gonna make.
Yes.
So wonderful about the business. I want to talk to you a little bit now about your family.
Okay.
You know, you talked about your mom and your dad a little bit, and that your sister designed the card, and she's got all these artistic abilities. Tell me
Yes.
about your immediate family, your husband, your children.
So I am married to my husband Mitchell and
Mm-hmm.
have been for 28 years.
28.
And we have 4 children together and a
Mm-hmm.
grandbaby on the way. I have
Oh,
a
wow.
granddaughter on the way
Uh-huh.
due in November.
Mhm.
Um, but yes, I met my husband in 1993. Was fresh into the military,
Mhm.
and I was young. He was 19. I was teenager too. I was 16. And I was like, okay. So we met, and just 2 years went by without us even realizing it, and decided to get married.
Wow.
So we got married in 1995, April 1995. Yeah.
Well, 28 years. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
not a
you.
small accomplishment in today's world, you know.
Yes.
And that's another reason why I wanted you to be on the show today, because we need to have more African American faces that say, hey, I'm in a successful marriage. You know,
Yes.
we need to see that and hear that more. And
Yes.
I also want to hear a little bit about your family night. I mean, I'm picking up all these things that you talked about
Oh,
because
yes.
they're all great nuggets for families to latch onto. So tell me about how your family kind of stays connected.
Okay, so one of the big things with me is family night,
Hmm.
and I kind of make it mandatory. But when I say that, it's they love it. My kids
Hmm.
love it, and it's not forced at all. They like if I tend to forget, they'll be like, "Hey, we got to meet up." It's family
Hmm.
night, but we do that once a month because now my children are all adults.
Right.
I have a 28-year-old, a 26-year-old, a 24-year-old, and a 20-year-old next month.
Hmm. Hmm.
And what we love to do is play games and
Hmm.
eat. And so we every once a month, since they've been older and moved out and gone to college and back, we meet up and we eat and play games and laugh. And if there's any updates in the family, like things on the calendar, we let each other know. So we'll make sure we're at. But that's how we stay connected as they're adults. When my children were younger, I always had game night. I always had moments of us, let's watch a movie together, movie night
Right.
where we'll go to a theme park or something like that. I always wanted to keep that family structure so that when my children get older, they would continue to do
Right.
so with their children. But yeah,
Mhm.
they love it. They love it.
That's awesome. So what's the mix, girls, boys?
So I have 3 daughters and 1 son.
Mm-hmm.
And my son is the youngest. My daughter Kayla is the oldest. She's 28 and married. And I have
Mm-hmm.
a wonderful son-in-law, Zach. And
Mm-hmm.
then I have my 26-year-old daughter, Brianna. And then my 24-year-old daughter, Danielle. And
Mm-hmm.
then my son, Michael, who is 20 next month.
Wonderful. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so great. Yeah, it's great to hear it. And I can see by the smile on your face and the way you say their names and talk about them that you enjoy, their company, and I'm sure they enjoy yours.
I do. I talk to them daily.
Yeah, that's outstanding.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
when I was talking to you at the park, at the selling station, you were at that time preparing for your daughter's shower, not shower, but revealing of the
Yes.
gender of the baby, right? And
Yes.
it was so hilarious to me when you showed me a little video of your husband saying, "Yes, I know. I already knew it was going to be a girl."
Right.
I just thought that was hilarious,
Yeah.
and
He
that just
said, "Oh, yeah."
go ahead.
He was saying that entire day he kept slipping and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna find out it's my granddaughter today. This is gonna be my granddaughter." We're gonna let them know about my granddaughter today. Granddaughter today.
Uh-huh. And he kind of already knew before he saw the paperwork that it was
Yes,
a girl.
yes, he felt
That's
like he knew it was a
amazing.
girl.
That's too cute. Well,
Yeah,
I'm excited for you that you're in a happy marriage, that you two
yes.
are sticking it out. And I want you to just take a moment and give some nuggets of wisdom to people who are very either thinking of getting married, or they're newlyweds, or they're having struggles in their marriage. You know, how do you stay together for 28 years? What's the wisdom that you want to share about that?
So I always tell people to remember that love is a choice, and how much you choose to love is a choice.
Mhm.
And I choose to love my husband unconditionally. I choose to love him immensely. Like I
Mhm.
really do. I don't just I love and I like him. You know,
Mhm.
I don't just love the things about him or what he can do for me. I love who he is. I
Right.
love his character. I love his integrity. I love his mind. And
Mhm.
so that carries, you got to value the person that you're with. And when you value them, you will see those little parts of them, and you will feel connected to
Mhm.
that. So, honestly, like I say, just loving them unconditionally is not like, what can you do for me that makes me love you? It's who you are, you
Mhm.
know, and that comes attached to the value of them. I value my husband,
Right.
I value his opinions, I value his thoughts, his feelings, and remembering that again, I entered into this marriage, I'm committing myself to you. That's a conscious decision that I made. So what
Mhm.
I have to put in my all. I don't suggest that anyone go in halfway, be wholehearted about it.
Mhm.
It takes work. But forgiveness is a big thing as well, and not just like major big things, but small things. Because I've seen people hold on to small things that happen in their marriage and ready to run to divorce. And I'm like, oh no, you got to learn how to forgive, because you want to be forgiven for things that you may say wrong or do wrong.
Mhm.
So why not extend that same thing
Right.
towards your spouse? Also communication, talk with each other, have regular moments where you just like, hey, I just want to connect and,
Mhm.
run through my feelings about things. Sometimes I feel like we would carry something on our chest and feel like we're the only one that can have to deal with it. But if you have a spouse, that person is there to share that with.
Mhm.
They should be your safe space, in the
Mhm.
sense of you're able to work through it together. Whatever it is, it could be just a personal thing, like something I'm dealing with myself. But if
Mhm.
I keep it to myself, how can I get, I don't have any kind of dialogue or help with it if I'm keeping it to myself.
Right.
So
Right.
a lot of times it's just communicate to your spouse, hey, I'm feeling this kind of way, and they can help add to, or,
Mhm.
help you figure things out. But be honest with each other.
Right. Right.
Big thing. Honesty in marriage. Like, can I be me? Can you be you?
Mhm.
Not just it's all about me. You can't
Right.
be selfish in a marriage, it's two people in it. So you gotta
Well,
remember that.
even in a friendship, I mean, a lot of
Right.
times people don't think about this, but
Right.
even in any friendship, if there is not some mutual like and love for each other, if there's not some mutual listening and giving and take, you're not going to be friends very long.
Right.
Right? It's just going to crash and burn. And it's so easy to crash and
Right.
burn when it's a friend, but when it's a marriage, you are bonded together and you have children together, and
Right.
you are going to be miserable if you don't, if you don't
Yeah.
learn how to work through some of these issues. So I think what you said was really powerful, loving unconditionally. Let's just talk about that for a second. I mean,
Yeah.
that's God's way, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I don't really think we really know what that what that means. It's
Right.
love
Right.
unconditionally. No matter what happens, I'm here with you and for you,
Right.
and I'm your ride or die and got your back forever. Uh,
Right.
a lot of relationships like that are just thrown out the window, both in marriages and in friendships, because people
Yeah.
don't go that deep anymore sometimes.
Right. Right. Unfortunately, it's kind of like I got in it for certain reasons. And
Mm,
if I don't have these reasons, I'm not gonna stay. And
mm,
and it's like sometimes, the vowels say in sickness and in health, for
mhm.
better or for worse. Sometimes that person may lose a job, or say that person may lose or say have health issues.
Right,
You're supposed to be there to love through that. It's
right.
not only when you were at your 100% can I be in
Mm,
this marriage. I have to be in it with all, even with losing parents. He's lost his mom and I lost my mom. So we had to deal with the loss of a parent.
yeah,
And in that, you're supposed to be there to support each other, console, and and
mm,
comfort and pray for each other,
right,
things like that. And that's a beautiful thing in marriage, to have someone to pray with, have
right.
someone to encourage you and keep you motivated and all. And
Mhm,
but yeah,
mhm.
it's a lot of people that don't go that deep
Yeah,
anymore. They're
yeah,
like, well, this is not what I signed up for, so I'm out, but
right. Well,
that's not
in our conversations, you mentioned how you and your husband were sort of facilitating a group of other married people, just
yes,
as a married group to, keep the cohesiveness together.
yeah,
And I think that that is needed
yes,
more and more today because
yes,
I think that a lot of people, when they get ready to get married, they don't have a realistic expectation of
right,
what marriage really is.
right,
One of the things you said early on is that you love your husband's mind and you love him at a deep level. So you don't love someone at a deep level when you just met him, last month.
right,
You know,
right.
so how is it? I mean, how do you suppose, if you can kind of think back to that, what got you to the place where you felt like I love this man unconditionally? What do you think? What do you think some of the things that caused you to come to that place?
So, well, my husband's from Florida, and not saying that everyone from Florida is this way. I'm from Virginia, but but when I met him, I just felt like he didn't talk like anyone else. He was
Okay.
19 years old with a mindset to have a plan.
Mm,
Like he was in a mindset of, this is where I want to be in
right.
so many years, and it wasn't just career driven. I want to be this type of person.
Right.
And so many, like say 5 years down the road, it wasn't just, he's like, I want to be this, but I want to be a husband. I want to be, and nobody in my neighborhood, nobody in my area was talking like that. And I was like,
That's rare. That's rare almost everywhere for a young
right, to have a to have a plan. We're teenagers,
person.
some people are just living for the moment.
Mhm,
Um, but not just to have he knew how to be in the moment, but he also knew how to plan. And that was one of the biggest things. And I told him, I was like, I kind of fell in love with your mind first, it's just the way you
mhm, mhm.
talk was
Right.
different.
Mhm,
He admired his parents. He really honors his mom and his dad. His mom has passed away since,
mhm,
but I saw that in a young man.
mhm.
And that was okay. You think different. You have some values, and
Right.
okay. And that's, that was opening up for me. I'm a family oriented person.
Mhm.
Always have been. My mama, she didn't meet a stranger. And so with family, she always kept us together. And with him, I could see I could build that. Not
Right.
that I was thinking about marriage in that moment, but I was like, this is someone I can enjoy being around.
Right. Okay.
So, that's what began that. And he was in the military, fresh into the military. And so they tend to teach you that discipline of
Mhm.
how to, be accountable
Right.
and be responsible. And so I was seeing that at a young age in my husband, and he will be 50 years old this year, so I just want to point that out.
Okay. All right.
We've
He's
been
still young.
together 30 years this year, so I've known him since he was 19.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so,
That's awesome.
yeah,
Well, I think that's great. I think that I wanted to hear you say that because nothing you said was material,
right,
you know. And in my times of facilitating women's retreats and talking to ladies and women about, oh, I want to get married and blah, 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 you know, they always have this, I won't say they always, many of them, especially
mhm,
younger ones, have this criteria of what he has. He has to have this, he has to have that, and this and this and this. But what you just laid out was something that is an intangible that's even more valuable than someone's. People will lose, they can lose their money, they can lose their job, they can lose all that stuff. But if they have integrity, if they have
Yeah.
skills, if they have the right mindset and abilities, and if they have the Lord in their life,
Yes.
these are the valuable things that are intangibles that you can't put a price on. And
Right.
that's what I was listening for when I wanted, I knew you were going to say those
Yeah.
things because we talked about them before. So that's amazing, and it's really outstanding. I'm excited about it. So so now tell me about community. What's happening around you? What do you see in the world today that needs some help and prayer and fasting and
Um,
meditation?
so my daughter is the 26-year-old. She is a part of a youth, it's young adults, it's not youth,
Mhm.
but it's a young adults ministry at our church. And one of the things that she said, because you get into that, I'm out of a teenage phase and I'm going into, mature adulthood, and I'm kind of trying to figure my way.
Right.
Some people get married, some are finishing college, some are transitioning into, or say they already have become a mother.
Mhm.
But she has been fortunate to be in the midst of where she could see all these different types.
Right.
And one thing for sure is they need guidance, because it's easily to get swept up in feeling, oh, what have I accomplished in my life? What have I done? Or am I really going anywhere? I'm done with school now. What good am I now? Um, and I've been taking a side seat to see how she's helping these young adults guide themselves in Christ, guide themselves in life, creating that kind of community. So that has been one of the newest things I have been um, privileged to be able to see from the side, is my daughter is helping these young adults, gain perspective. She graduated college. My daughter moved back home afterwards, and even herself dealt with feeling like, okay, now what? What do I do now? I know I'm saved, I'm a Christian, I finished college, I have a good job, but I don't have a relation, I'm not in a relationship right now, things like that. So even with her own personal experience, she could help guide other young ladies in that. And it's just been amazing to watch.
Mhm.
So I could say the young adults really, I know, is a community that, kind of get that you kind of can forget about, a little bit. You got the teenagers and then you got the 30-year-olds, but right there in the middle.
The young adults in
Yeah,
the
so that's
transition.
yes. And
And
yeah. But also with marriages is definitely a ministry I believe in every church should be, because that marriage community is also support. Some people tend to think, oh, only I'm going through this in my marriage. No marriage is perfect.
mhm,
All marriages take work,
mhm,
and you have to be willing to
mhm,
put in that kind of work, willing to communicate,
mhm.
willing to be selfless,
Right.
willing to ask questions. And in my marriage group that I did have at my church, we had it was more of an intimate setting to where you could ask questions and feel comfortable doing so.
Mhm.
In that, you realize, oh no, you're not the only one who deals with, I don't like to clean bathrooms, or I don't really know how to cook. You kind of feel like isolated when you don't open up and
Yeah.
share. So, but
Mhm.
yeah, and then, little tips, things from other wives can help other wives. Same thing with the men. A lot of
Mhm.
men don't open up
Right.
per se to, crowds, but men to men, you wouldn't believe. I've seen such blessings come from the men communicating with each other and understanding that you're not alone. You have support, and maybe I can add something to it to help you, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
figure
I
it
think
out, and vice versa.
I agree that there needs to be more of that. And
Yeah,
women and men are so different. Like women's, like, see, I just walked up on you at your table and we
yeah,
started chatting, and then we became friends, and we're just chitty chatty
right.
chitty. And men are at a they don't communicate like we do, you know.
No,
I mean, they probably would never have talked about the things we've talked about thus far, having known each other such a short time. They would stay
Right.
more like at the surface, and they talk about their jobs, and yeah, I got
Right.
and I got a job, and yeah, I'm driving this F-250 or whatever they call those big old trucks. That's what they
Yeah.
were doing. But
True.
as far as getting heart to heart or talking about real issues or really things that are painful or challenges, that's not something that they do quickly or easily. So it is good for a man to have another brother that
Yeah.
he can open up to, someone who uh, believes in the Lord and could pray with him, and
Yeah.
he's someone who's discreet also and is not going to
Yes.
put all of his business out there for the world to hear.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, we all need that,
Yeah,
women and men, we all need that to be able to
we
have
do.
talk to. So once again, just highlighting those three things you talked about for marriages, you know, unconditional love, being able to forgive, and being able to listen and talk things out. I mean,
Yeah.
that's three big. You should put that on a T-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Making T-shirts, so you should put that on. I mean, it's
Yeah,
huge. It's really
it
huge.
is.
To stay together. So yeah, so I see all those things too in the community. Family is a big thing in my heart. You know,
Yeah.
Families uh, can get broken down for a lot of reasons, and the enemy is on his job trying
Yeah.
to break things up. And
Yeah.
so I am always happy when I meet someone like yourself who is stepping on his head, trampling
Oh,
on
yeah.
his head. I am happy about that. Well, I don't
Yeah.
want to keep you too long today. Is there any particular other thing on your mind? I don't want to leave anything important out that people might want to hear you talk about.
Well, no, like I say, I'm really grateful that we met.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told my entire family about you. My sisters in Texas know I met
Oh
you.
my
So
gosh.
yeah, I'm excited because it's good to see someone trying to put this out there for others to see and be encouraged and things like that. One of the things, my mama, she was a very optimistic, very positive person,
Mm-hmm.
and she just loved people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if we can remember to love people,
Mm-hmm.
love each other,
Yes.
um understand that we're human, and that will allow a little bit more forgiveness, allow, add more room for understanding, try to be understanding. I
Mm-hmm.
really am grateful for the mom that I had. But yeah, I just want people to love more, don't give up on life, love life,
Mm-hmm.
stay strong and pray. I have faith in God, and I believe I'm a Christian, me and my husband, and one of the things we do is we pray for people, you
Right.
know, pray for marriages, pray for youth, pray for young adults, you know. Just it don't take too much to just say, God bless this person, bless that, bless this family.
Right.
And just remember to be others minded, you
Yeah.
know.
Mhm. People are struggling right now. People are losing jobs. People are working hard, but not having enough money to pay for things to make ends meet. Um, a lot of families have broken up because of it. I mean, a lot
Yeah.
of things of this is going on. So I just wanted to see if you had like some message of hope for someone who is just struggling right now and they just don't know how they're going to make it from today to the next 2 days or next week. What would you
Yeah.
say?
Well, there are surefire ways to control the mind in those type of situations. And the one surefire way that I have is God. It's like literally, I know God gives me hope
Mhm.
through tough times. We've had tough times in my marriage,
Yeah.
with our children, and you can't focus on the problem so much that you forget that one day it can get better. Like never give up, never settle for thinking this is how it's got to be.
Hmm.
It's like simple prayers of God help me
Yes.
can take you far.
Hmm.
Simple, trying to remember that I'm not alone. Okay, God, you haven't forgotten me. you haven't let me go. And I tell people, a lot of people, I've seen both situations, whether you have non-Christians going through the same situation as a Christian.
Right.
We are still human. We still in this world and life, and we go through similar things. And my thing is, where's your hope? Do you have any hope? Do you have, and your hope and believing that, okay, this is gonna get better. Let me do what I gotta do right now,
Mm-hmm.
but it will get better. I can't give up. One, as far as the mother goes, she has children. They're dependent on her. I
Yes.
used to have to remind a family member I had, hey, your kids depend on you. You are all they have. You can't check out. You can't check out because, and her kids are grown now, but I was like, you can't check out because they need you,
Mm-hmm.
and that can add some hope to it, as well. Um, but yeah, definitely in life, we are dealt with things that we don't expect. But I've seen where loneliness can create a mindset of no hope. You
Right.
know, I'm lonely. I don't have nobody. This is what it's gonna be. It's like, I encourage people to find a church home. I encourage people to find a community of people that can encourage and help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are resources out there. And I was one of those mamas, because I had 4 young kids, I was one of those mamas. I was like, I'm gonna make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have gourmet French fries. I don't know what's gonna
Hey.
happen. We're gonna make it happen. I used to have a joke with my daughter. I told her, I said, she, as an adult now, I could tell her. I said, I used to say, we're gonna have a tomato sauce on a potato, just like joking. And she was like, Mama, that's ketchup and French fries. I said, but, we're gonna look at it different. You know,
Us.
tomato sauce on a potato, crispy,
Mhm.
sauteed crispily, and things like that. I used to say stuff like that to make my kids laugh. But they used to tell me, well, there was a time in my marriage when my lights were out.
Mhm.
I kid you not. We played games. I cut on
Mhm.
the flashlights
Uh-huh.
and we played games. And my kids didn't even realize. They just thought we were playing games in the dark. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like,
Wow.
I know how to make you try to find the light in the moment.
Right.
And they'll tell you now as an adult, it's like, we didn't know it was that hard. I'm like, well, I tried my best,
Mhm.
but I knew as a parent, it was hard. I
Right.
knew as the adult, it was hard.
Mhm.
And it's easily to get discouraged, but it's like trying to remember to have hope, trying to remember to find the light in the situation, the best of it. Um, but yeah, I've seen, I've seen times. So
Some tough times. Yep.
yeah,
And I think there's no one can get through this life without some down times. You
yeah,
know, it's up
no,
and
yeah,
it's down. But with God, he always he's always there. He's
oh,
always there to catch you and not let you, crash and burn. And I'm
right,
thankful for that. So that's a good message, that God has got you. As long
yes,
as you keep your hands on God. I mean, some
right,
people get into situations and then they just want to give up on God. And I'm thinking, oh, I can never,
no,
can't do
couldn't do
that.
it,
Well, that's just like being in the deep ocean and you let go of the buoy. I mean, that's like,
right.
what am I gonna do?
That's my
It makes
lifeline. Why would I let go of my lifeline?
exactly. So yeah, so I really pray that more people, um, really latch onto that message and really get to know who God is. So they have their lifeline and they never let it go, no matter what happens.
Right.
Well, Ms. Trina Blunt, I am so thankful that you have come on and that I had a chance to interview you. I have a feeling I'm going to see a lot more of you.
Oh yes,
I hope that I will. And
yes.
thank you once again for being on Hope, Heartful Outreach, Positive Encouragement, and God's blessing on your business.
Thank you for having me up here. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, God bless you, and we'll talk to you again soon.